And welcome back. Do you think that gigantic shake means good job? I doubt it. Quick, let's get back to Uncle Steve. Cool, it refreshed the heart box, which is great because I needed that, I needed more hearts. I could still use another. Backtracking through here later on to finish getting all the, like, missed collectibles, because we just passed one that we need another ability to pick up, so we're gonna have to come back here, but like that backtracking is gonna be pretty awful. Oh, I've been able to duck under those before. You can't do that one? That's unfair. Hey, Waz, welcome in. Hope you've had an excellent weekend, and welcome to Illusion Island on the Switch. I felt like I did that wrong. I was the way I was kind of bumping up against the platform there, I don't think was necessarily what they wanted you to do. I think they expected you to kind of ride the side of it. But hey, any path to the top, right? This is the right way. Ah. Oh my goodness, I didn't notice this was a platform. I thought it was a background object. Doing good things. Right on, that is very good to hear. I myself have very little to complain about. I'm never gonna get over this weird tentacle monster. So bizarre. I like it. Did I skip a collectible up there? What kind of fool am I? Oh my goodness, it's more map pieces. I'm not sure how helpful a map will be in this ever-changing landscape, but here you go. Okay, I mean, it's not a whole lot to it. Hope the puppy training's been going well. It's been going alright. I'm still, you know... I missed out on a bit of sleep. He did really well. He did really well in his crate earlier tonight, though, when we had to put him away so we could have dinner. He quieted down unusually quickly. And I don't want to get my hopes up that that's going to be regular. You know, it's very likely it was just a one-off night. He was just extra tired or something. But I'm looking forward. I'm looking forward to the day where he can, you know, where he can be peacefully in his crate when we are not able to supervise him. But he was really good today. Uncle Steve, are you alright? It's tough times, but Uncle Steve is keeping his head above water. Ha ha ha. But seriously, things could be better. What happened? The airflow shift worked too well. We're pulling in moon juice from the sky below. How do we help fix it? You'll have to travel down to the sky below and find the original blockage. We can do that. Black. I thought I'd try being positive, but I didn't like it. You'll need special equipment to dive deep into the moon juice. I have a feeling we may conveniently bump into someone who can help with that. Uncle Steve has marked your map with the estimated location of the blockage. Alright, everyone. It's time for a deep dive. By the way, don't go asking the clams for anything. They can be a little shellfish. Ha ha ha. But seriously, the clams are not nice. I didn't like that joke until he had the follow-up. Great stuff is tough at first, but eventually they associate it as their bed, so that's something to look forward to. Yeah, we're trying, and you know, we make it try to make it a pleasant place, and we don't really leave him alone in the crate all that often, and so like that's why he gets noisy about it sometimes, is because like usually even when he's sleeping in his crate, we're in the room with him, but we can't always be, so you know we need him. We do need him to get used to the idea that sometimes he's going to be having to be hanging out, and we can't always be right there with him. But he'll get it. It's just, you know, just a thing. It just takes some time. But he did really well tonight. I'm focusing on, you know, I'm focusing on that without trying to get my hopes up too much. That it's going to be quite regular. We got him a new chew bone, and he couldn't care less about it. I was shocked. I was shocked. He wants to chew on everything he comes across. And then I got him this Nyla bone, I think it's called. This chew bone. And he could not possibly care less about it. Mazzy, are you a sight for sore eyes? My friends, I'm going to guess this visit is about the moon juice filling mops. You be right again. As always, I have the contraptions to continue your quest. This is probably the last upgrade we'll get, I expect. Unless there is a weapon that we earn at some point, which, I mean, I don't expect this late into the game. That's the only other thing I could see us earning, because I don't think we've come across any situation I can't traverse other than water now. And here it is. Mickey, this golden-finned friend will help you breathe in the deep. It's a goldfish bowl? Gosh, that isn't fishy at all. He's kind of cute. Mini made from my own scuba suit with adjustments, unless you also have a tail hand. He has a tail hand? I never even noticed. What kind of creature is this guy? No, but my tail is handy, thank you. Goofy, I'm not one for puns, but I couldn't resist this watermelon fruity fin. I don't get it, but thanks. Alright. Where's mine? Why would you need help with swimming? Why does everyone always assume I'm a good swimmer? Because you're, He doesn't like to talk about it. Oh dear. I'm so sorry. I don't know if that was supposed to end with you're a duck or you're a sailor. It's never good to assume. Give me a second. Here you go. Not my best work, I'll admit. This is a giant drinking straw with a broken fan attached. Partially broken. Some of the writing in this is just fantastic. Well, my friends, this is the end of our journey together. All right, I was right. This is the last item. It is. It's time for me to rest, and I'm not sure when I might re-emerge. Thank you for everything, Mazzy. Thanks, Mazzy. You're a true friend. Thanks for all the food, Mazzy. Even if I can't eat it. Yeah, thanks, I guess. The pleasure has truly been mine. Thank you for giving this old inventor some purpose. A wise man once said, "Don't be sad at parting. Be grateful for the time together." And I am truly, truly grateful. Goodbye, friends. What a guy. I'm gonna miss him. Me too. Hey, does anyone want to swap? He never said we couldn't swap. I'm good. Alright. Seamlessly swim through moon juice. Perfect. Now we can. Now the whole map is open to us. I'm pretty sure. It's pretty sure there's nowhere we can. Yeah, look, we've got all the things. So we're just missing a. We're still missing a couple key items. Well, one of them's a book, but I don't know what the other one would be. Maybe the thing you get for beating the game? I don't know. Alright, the world is ours. I may do some backtracking before we prioritize moving the endgame along. I may do a little bit of our backtracking first. I mean, swimming is what it is. What is the... He really does have the watermelon on his back like a fin, and that helps him breathe underwater. What a character. Hey, Sarconius. How are you, my friend? Welcome to Illusion Island. A pretty chill Metroidvania on the Switch. Oh, we have a dash, too. That's nice. I thought this was only multiplayer. Cool to see it's not. I was wondering if that meant a Sark raid was incoming, and indeed it is. We are very lucky, my friends. Thank you, Sark, for the raid. Thank you for bringing your people in. Big shout out to our friend Sarconius. He has got a wonderful stream, my friends. If you somehow don't already follow him, use that link there to do so. How did Spelunky treat you? I hope it was an excellent stream. Sark does lots of retro stuff, and he does retro achievement hunting, and he is not afraid to take on some pretty grueling challenges sometimes. I've seen him do some. I've seen him struggle with some pretty tough stuff, like Jackal on the NES and Castlevania Chronicles, and I think you're having a good time the other day playing Pocky and Rocky. That I mean, I wasn't there for the whole time, but what I saw looked mostly pleasant. A little bit annoying with that. A little bit annoying toward the end with one of those bosses there. The like getting powered down for using a continue kind of thing looked pretty terrible, but it looked like a fun game overall. A few good runs, no new PBs. 730 and 740. I mean, those sound like pretty good times to me. I can't really say, like, I have never played a Spelunky game, so I don't really have the context to place those. But you know, I wish you luck chasing down the PB next time, and at least the runs were good. Even if it wasn't great, at least you weren't like blundering and floundering like I so often find myself doing when I take on a challenge. Hey Mets, welcome in. Thank you for coming along. Spelunky seems hard, Waz says. For Respirant's Cosmic Ocean is from level 7... Oh, wait, hang on. Is going from level 7-5 to 7-99. So it's not a time thing. Alright, I read those as times. So 94 level. So alright, so it's a matter of running a certain number of stages. And your best is, I mean, it's a little over halfway there. But yeah, just got this swimming ability. So a whole lot of the, like, a new area has opened up to me, but a whole lot of, like, backtracking areas of the map have also opened up to me. So we've got a lot we can take care of now in this game. The swimming is pretty good. It's just you know, it's just push in the direction you want to go, but it's like, I was struggling with Echo the Dolphin last week, and the swimming in that game is not good. This swimming is much preferable. The very tight turns can instantly switch directions in the same place. This is the way to live. It's a marathon, and you can die instantly very easily if you're not careful. What are the, what is your next, retro achievement? If you're able to share that, Sark, what's coming down the pipeline for you? Let me just double check this passageway. It feels like there really should have been somewhere where it branches off for a secret. Angela says, gonna try ActRaiser 2 tomorrow. Love the first one. I remember the second one being not as good. I haven't tried either of them. I've heard good things about the first. I don't even think I could have told you there was a second one, though. Gun Gauge on PlayStation 1. Never seen it before. Glanced at the long play. It looks pretty good. What type of game is it? Is it like a shooter? That would be my guess. Like a. I don't know nothing about it. I'm just imagining stuff in my brain. Looks like they copied their characters off Kingdom Hearts, Streaming Fist says. Welcome in, my friend. They were hoping no one would notice. It is a third-person shooter. Right on. I hope that turns out to be a treat for you. I hope you're right that it turns out to be good. What's up? Not a whole lot. You know, just sort of another laid-back night with this game. So what we got ahead of us. I've been doing pretty well. I've mentioned a few times. My wife and I got we got a new puppy last week, and so we've been you know, getting him acclimated to the daily routine and the home and stuff like that. And we've been, you know, focusing on crate training and potty training and going for walks. And he doesn't sleep for quite as long of bursts as we typically need. So there's a lot of getting up in the middle of your sleep and trudging outside, but you know, it's all part of the territory. It's not; those aren't the fun parts. But he's doing pretty well. He's the potty training he's been picking up. He's been doing real good with the potty training so far. Going where he's supposed to go, not going where he's not supposed to go. We don't give him a lot of opportunity to make mistakes, but even then, he's doing really well with that, and he's a very sweet little dog. Very very cuddly, very friendly, very good-natured. A little too energetic, but that's what puppies are gonna do, right? So it's a little rough, though. I can't lie. It's a little rough. It's a little rough getting up every 2 or 3 hours when I'm trying to get my night sleep. But it'll all be worth it eventually. ActRaiser 2 suffers from a very awkward control scheme. Didn't hate the game, but I like the first one far better. Sark says. Nice, Streaming Fist says. Controls in ActRaiser 2 are janky. Not looking forward to playing it again. Let's head out of here and get down to the sky below. Hey. Spoiler face McShow Ruiner and his sidekicks up here. Yes. Uncle Steve asked me to tell you about this number, the admin controls. Underneath my current position is a button. Hit the button to dynamically change mops whenever you want. Messing with things actually sounds fun. Thanks. Spoiler face is very quiet. I think he's trying to avoid spoiling anything. Well, it's a bit late for that. Oh, okay. Want me to tell you about the next episode? No, goodbye. So I picked this game up, basically just based on the box art. You know, the cartoon style. A lot of people have come in and have compared it to Cuphead in the like character style, and I kind of agree with that because that's what I thought of when I first saw it. But it's not it's not quite like the rubber hose animation. It's got like it's sort of a weird cross between that and like 2000s Cartoon Network is what it looks like to me, with like the angular bodies and stuff. But it's a pretty nice style. It's got a retro vibe to it that I like. But yeah, I thought of Cuphead too, and I was thinking, oh, it's you know, Disney's gonna copy that formula. This might be interesting. And so I was expecting more of a traditional platformer, or like a you know, maybe run and gun or something. I wasn't really expecting like so many bosses as Cuphead. But it's more of a Metroidvania, and there's actually no combat so far. There are bosses, but they're very passive bosses. It's more like move around the arena, dodging their attacks to hit switches to defeat the bosses, which is a fine model. It's just not I'm just saying it's not what I was expecting. It's pretty light on the challenge. I mean, I've certainly died a lot of times. Some of these jumps get really tricky, and you don't get your health back very often. So, you know, you very much can die, but it's very forgiving even when you do. There's checkpoints everywhere. It is pretty fun. Like, it's got a pretty fun world to explore. Like, I mostly like the art, and it's got lots of secrets to collect. They're pretty obvious. The secret's not hidden super well, but that's all right. The best thing about it is the movement's really fun. You've got a jump and a double jump and a wall kick, and there's places where you can swing off of background obstacles. And it's got a very good feel, all of the movement. So there's a lot to like about it, especially in that regard. So I've been having a really good time with it. I don't expect it's gonna be that huge of a game though. We've played it already for we've been at it for I guess about 10 hours. I think it's gonna be about a 20-hour game for me. Most people would probably get through it quite a bit faster. But I think I expect it's going to take me about 20 hours. To go for 100%. And it does have a few options available to it too. I've got most of this. I've got the options set up as default, but it does give you options to make the game harder by either removing your hearts, or you can turn down some of the hints that the game gives you too. So depending on how much, you know, how much pain you want to inflict on yourself, you have some pretty good options for making the game pretty hard. Because you can turn it down to one-hit death, and there's a particular type of collectible that you're given an audio cue for when it's near. And if you turn that off, they can be pretty hard to spot, because they're like a Where's Waldo type, find a thing in the background. Like an I Spy type thing. So if you don't have that sound cue and know where to be looking, you're gonna have to... Oh, right there. I mean, it's not only a sound cue. Look, it's these right here. These Mickey Mouse heads. They're hidden throughout the game. And so... yeah, it gives you an audio cue, and it also gives you this little thing above Goofy's head as like a tracker when you're in the area. But yeah, some of those would be really hard to spot without the cues. Let me catch up here. Could try those toys. We can put peanut butter in, freeze it. Puppies, just need calm down toys. Yeah, so that's what the idea of the Nylabone was. was that was going to go into his, it was going to be his crate toy for Calm Down, and we did get one of those. I think they're called Kongs. We got one of those. Yeah, one of those rubber things. I don't know if we're gonna put. I don't know if we're gonna put peanut butter in ours. We got a. We have like some special treats that came with it that are shaped to be kind of tricky to get out. So we're gonna start with those. But I have heard about peanut butter or some sort of like pate food. Look at me bleeding my health away. I'm one hit from the grave now. There are a lot of little areas like this where you gotta go through a series of obstacles to get a collectible. And like they're the most challenging thing you'll come across in the game. Little rooms like this. Kind of almost like a little like Celeste or Meat Boy challenge, but you know, turned way down. I like those. I like coming across those little areas though. I kind of wish the map would come up as a transparent overlay instead of cutting off like that all the time. Like cutting away like that. Peanut butter is good because you can freeze it and it just lasts longer. Treats they get after like 5 or 10 minutes or whatever. Also healthy for puppies. Right on. We might just do that too. I'll have to see what what Jelly thinks, but I'm not like violently opposed to it. Oh no! I heard they changed things in the ActRaiser remake on Steam, Angela says, but it wasn't for the better. That's a shame. It's interesting when I saw the ads for this, I got Rayman Legends vibes. I've not tried that one yet. I guess it does kind of look... I guess it, like, stylistically, it does kind of remind me of what I've seen from that a little bit too, though. I haven't tried those yet, though. The Rayman Origins and Rayman Legends. I hear they're pretty good. If they put this on Steam, I'd definitely purchase it, Angela says. Hang on. So, wait a moment. Was that a dead end? Oh, no. I have to go back over to here where I just died because I didn't pay enough attention to where I was. Yeah, there's no way down. Oh. The mailbox was hiding it. Oh, so I'm kind of way off. Alright, sorry. Most games can't be Cuphead, because actual frame-by-frame hand-drawn animation and all. Well, yeah. I mean, I wasn't really expecting that level of, like, artistry in the audio-visual department, but I just thought it was just going to mimic the design, the gameplay design. I was expecting run and gun type stuff. But I'm not disappointed. I'm not unhappy with what we got by any means. This, if I'm gonna play a Metroidvania type game, this is what the kind that I like. Right? There's no RPG elements. Like, it's truly like a Metroid game or like Hollow Knight, where, you know, there's no level grinding and all that stuff. It's just exploration, collectibles for your upgrades, and that's what I want out of a Metroid style game. I don't want all those. I don't care for all the RPG element stuff. Whoa. That's weird. Look at that. You know, you activate this switch to get that platform moving, but you didn't even need it. I just bounced off the switch and on the other side, and it got me high enough without even the thing it turned on. You got a backflip too? I don't know that it really makes for a different, I don't really know that it makes a difference in your jump to use the backflip versus, the regular jump. I think you get slightly more height. I think it's more for just the fluid movement, though, than an actual practical use. Rafnir, welcome in. Hey, thank you for the raid, my friend. How are you? How was your stream? What were you up to? Have you done Super Ghouls and Ghosts yet, Hrafnir? You had mentioned, I thought that you were gonna play it, and I didn't catch it live, but I was looking at your page, and I didn't see a VOD of it either, and so I figured it might be it might have been paired with something else, and so I just didn't see it in the thumbnail. But I was wondering if you'd picked that up yet, how it went. Finished Final Fantasy 16. It was fun, right on. GG on the victory. Do you just finish the main story, or are you like pretty much done with it altogether? Like 100%, or at least, you know, whatever percent you were working toward? I guess, is it first victory or final victory? Or both, as many games often are. Has a new game plus, but I'll worry about that later on. Okay, fair enough, yeah. I'm not necessarily one to rush into a game's new game plus myself. I still haven't started the new game plus for Dark Souls, right? We finished that a long time ago. I keep talking about it, but I just haven't been able to get to it. I really want to, but gotta get some other stuff out of the way first. Had to skip this week, it's been busy. Get to it this Friday. Right on. Still need to finish 16, Waz says. This year's been wild. They should remake that Capcom game, Adventures in the Magic Kingdom. Just because it needs updating, because the park design in that game is horribly outdated, Angela says. I want to see you tackle Dark Souls 2. Dark Souls 2 is in the future. Definitely. I mean, I think I want to see the one thing that I'm worried about with doing New Game Plus of Dark Souls 1 is I'm pretty sure I'm just gonna play it the same way that I played the like I feel like I'm gonna end up playing it the same way that I did did my first playthrough, and so it's not really gonna be that interesting because I don't know that I'm strong enough to break my habits. You know, I'm interested to do. Like I want to do New Game Plus because I want to find the stuff that I missed on the first playthrough. I want to see the stuff I never found. But I think that in some ways it's gonna be kind of boring for people because I don't think I'm gonna be able to change my ways away from being like axe and shield man. We'll try. Maybe I'm selling myself short. Maybe I'll do better than I think. If you ever want to do multiplayer Souls, I'll come along for the ride. Appreciate the offer, Mets. I don't know that I will take you up on that. I stick pretty heavily to single player. I kind of don't. I don't really have the multiplayer thing in me very strong. But it is nice to know that if I do change my ways there, you know, hopefully that offer will continue to stand. As a new reviewer, I'd love to see that. Always love seeing Souls stuff. So my plan is to do all of the is to try and do all the Souls games, but I don't tend to do things within the same series very close together all that often. So they're just gonna happen kind of spread out. You may regret though. You may regret that when you see how badly I play Dark Souls. My first playthrough. My first playthrough was fun, but it was equal parts fun, but and horrific. I did it completely blind. I never broke. I never broke or asked for help. I managed to struggle all the way through to credits on my own Steam, and I didn't have anyone spoil or ruin anything for me. I got really lucky. But it was ugly. It was ugly. I made pretty much every mistake I could make. So this is interesting. The map here like does a pretty good job at helping us see where there's still collectibles to be gotten. That's cool, actually. So yeah, why don't we head up to that right corridor and see if I can find the thing that's missing up there yet. We'll get some more of these little 100% medals. It's a Mickeyvania. Yeah, this game's it's a Metroidvania. It's a lot like, I would compare it to Hollow Knight without the combat. I think that describes it pretty well. I enjoy creating new characters every time I start a Dark Souls game. I like the grind and customizing each character, Hafnir says. That concept seems like it's that concept is just a thing that, like, my first playthrough took so long. That I think that, like, what it is for me there is, like, I just can't imagine that. Like, I can't, like, because, see, like, my point of reference is I feel like, well, every playthrough is 200 hours, so how in the world can you, like, go through the process of, like, playing Dark Souls with, like, four different characters? You know, it'd be 1,000 hours. It, like, that is just... How could you even remember what one character was like by the time you finish? And I know it's not like that. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying it is like that for someone who knows the game. But I'm just saying because my point of reference is one long playthrough. That feel, it seems so the thought seems so overwhelming to me. That's the fun of the experience, Frownie. I know Dark Souls Twitch chat can be nonsensical. I just like seeing the adventure. It was good. It was good. I had fun with it. I had and a lot of people seem to really dig a lot of aspects of my playthrough. So that was cool. I took several nights to figure out how to cross the little bridge in Anor Londo. I missed the ladder in Pinwheel's boss arena, so I could never find the Tomb of Giants for like 2 weeks. I had an egg parasite on my head for about 120 hours of the playthrough, and I didn't know it was stealing half my souls the whole time. I ate 2 of my Firekeeper's souls. I fought Ornstein and Smo with nothing but a crossbow. Like, there were a lot of really bogus times on my Dark Souls playthrough. People are always like kind of astounded by that that I went crossbow only for Ornstein and Smo. And the thing is, it's just like, I mean, even now, like, I've never watched another, you know, I wouldn't really want to hear another strategy for it. I'd prefer not, I would still prefer not to be told for now, because I wouldn't want to end up copying something else in New Game Plus, because I'm at, you know, but the thing is, like, I did it crossbow only because that's what seemed easy to me. I mean, that just seemed logical to me. I mean, it was super tedious, but I don't know, whatever people who saw it and people who hear about it, like, it seems to blow their minds. But I was just like, I mean, I wasn't trying to be cool with that strategy. It was just the only thing that it seemed like was gonna work. Alright, so I didn't see the collectible in the top part of this path, so Will you try a different build in Dark Souls 2 or run the same thing from 1? Um, that's a good question, Hrafnir. I don't know. I mean, I guess I'll try to create a different character type. That kind of stuff, none of that stuff, though, is probably ever going to mean anything to me. Like, the different, like, character types that you can build, and a lot of the stats, I think, are always going to be pretty obtuse and useless for me. I just don't really have a mind for that kind of stuff, so I'm probably gonna end up trying to run through the games mostly the same way. And really, I'll probably really only change things up as I'm forced to. I am kind of a creature of habit. So yeah, I wanted to say I might do some stuff differently, but knowing me and looking into my heart, I'm probably gonna run around with a shield and an axe in every game. That's probably what you're gonna see from me. But I'll at least pick a character of a different body type. So, you know, maybe sometimes, maybe, you know, like I ran around as a dude with an axe in the last one. If it lets me pick a lady character, maybe I'll be a lady with a shield and an axe next time. That'll be the big difference. Is my character will aesthetically look different. That's the best I can promise. Thank you for the wheel, Stat Cat. Let's give it a spin. I love thinking of different characters and class types. Makes for fun playthroughs. Instant win, Moz says. Oh, we got the fiery sauce again. I land on this one an awful lot. This is what we started the night with. If you weren't here before, the Wheel of Scorchin picks a different spicy or sour food for me to sample, and it's landed on Marie Sharp's Fiery Hot Habanero Pepper Sauce. It's, no, you can't really see it very well with the label there gleaming, but I'm going to fill up a little cracker with as much as I can get on there and just enjoy the burn. Been here, had to pick up my friend because he was drinking at a friend's house. I'm glad that you were there for him. You're able to keep him safe and responsible. It's good. It's good. It's not as traumatic as the first time tonight. The worst thing, you know, it's in my sinuses a little bit. The worst thing I've ever had on the wheel so far is something called Solar Flare Sunflower Seeds. They come in 5 heat levels. And the 5th heat level of those sunflower seeds was apocalyptic. sheer agony hot. Most of the chat seemed to be really happy when I ran out of those. That they didn't have to watch me suffer with them anymore. That hot sauce there is a good heat level. I like that. I feel like sometimes I feel like that fiery hot one has more kick than the ones that are supposed to be hotter than it sometimes. One hand and shield is pretty versatile, Met says. At least we're not talking Bethesda games where everyone always ends up sneaky archer even when they really try to do spellcaster or melee. Well, see, that's the thing, is like, I kind of was sneaky archer sometimes in Dark Souls. There were 4 or 5 bosses that my approach to them was sneaky archer approach. The gargoyles, Seath the Scaleless, the Fire Sage, and Ornstein and Smo. At least those 4, I pretty much went oops all arrows for all 4 of those guys. For Seath, the arrows were super obvious because all I had to do for that battle was just tuck myself into a polygon seam behind my shield and then just cheese him with arrows. He had no hope. That was the easiest fight in the game. I say I used a shield and an axe the whole time, but that's a little imprecise. I used an axe for about 30% of the playthrough, and then the rest of the time it was actually a halberd. It was a shield and a one-hand halberd. But you know, what is a halberd but just a big axe, right? The sunflower seeds had us legit worrying for your health. Me too. Me too. There will be stuff that's hot like that on the wheel again, but maybe not for a little while. Well, look, the map even tells me where the collectible is, so I must have seen it, but I didn't see it. How am I missing this thing? Now I passed it. What is going on? If I have one, I need to try these sunflower seeds. If I have one magic power, it's ingesting incredibly spicy foods. Oh my. Well then, they're the sunflower seed. They're the food for you. They're called Solar Flare sunflower seeds. They actually come as a challenge, where they're 5 little bags, and you're supposed to eat them all at once. But I divided them out and ate them in. I ate the 5 bags over 20 separate portions, so we could stretch them out for the stream and the wheel, and also because if I tried to do the challenge, I would have died. I actually didn't know that ahead of time, but I know it in hindsight. I like really incredibly spicy stuff, a lot of times, but not like... I like stuff that seems incredibly spicy to people that don't like extremely spicy foods. Like habanero peppers. I love habanero peppers. I use them all the time in my cooking. Everything I cook from scratch begins with garlic, onion, and habanero pepper. Halberd bonus damage in exchange for stumbling anytime you miss. Halberd chads aim to hit the enemy and not miss, so that's a non-issue. I don't think that even that detail occurred to me. The idea of stumbling. I'm sure I suffered from it, but I'm equally sure I never really noticed that it was something that was happening to me, and much less happening because of my halberd. I'm not very observant, you see. Like I said a moment ago, I ran around for like 120 hours with an egg on my head and didn't realize it was taking half the souls I earned. But I mean, the thing is, once the egg is on your head, you no longer have a point of comparison, because all the souls you're earning are cut in half. So like you just assume these are normal numbers. The only opportunity you really have to notice is when you first get it, and I didn't, and so even when I took it off, I still didn't notice. I noticed that I started getting more souls when I finally got the egg removed. But the thing was, after I got the egg removed, I immediately started wearing the treasure chest hat. And so, which gives you a soul bonus. And so I was like, oh wow, the treasure chest hat gives you an amazing soul bonus. This is incredible. Not realizing that it was really just because the egg was gone, they were doubled. I was like, wow, this treasure chest hat breaks the game. It gives you way too many souls. I wouldn't expect someone to notice that was happening without having it pointed out. All right, well, good. I feel a little less bad about my lack of observation. All right, right corridor is good. The hub is good. Left corridors. Upper vent, and lower vent are both good. So left corridors, we've got a card and a thing. All right, we can go get both of those. No, things are a little bit more slow now, my friends. But I think it's good. I think it's good we get some of this collectible hunting, you know, out of the way while we still have a little bit of, like, main stuff left to look forward to. fun to clear some, you know, be nice to clear some of these areas out. Dark Souls 1 PvP was great. On the plus side, Egghead hat gives you light, I think. Light as in literal illumination, or light as in makes something lighter, like less weight for you. I don't know. I don't remember if I wandered any truly dark areas with the Egghead. By the time, like, the darkest area I can think of in the game is the Tomb of the Giants, and by the time I went there, I had a different hat that was like a light up hat, so that's how I saw my way through there. Ah, this is still off limits because we don't have the book. I can't 100% this area yet. Oh, I should have looked. Alright. I should check and make sure there's not a book nearby if I'm gonna go into an area and look for collectibles. Maintenance office has no collectibles. We can head over here to the service tunnels on the right. Looks like there's still some stuff we can do. A lot of stuff we can do, actually. Ah! Alright. So there's a couple ways. There's a couple ways to get light. I don't think I ever used a torch in the game. It doesn't sound familiar to me. Tomb of the Giants was an area. It was pretty rough down there. It was pretty rough down there. Ouch. Oh, here we go. Groovy. This is the kind of thing we're looking for. The rocks that this guy throws, this pink guy, see how he's tossing those rocks in the air? You know what those look like? Those look like zonite. That's what I see. Oh, yet another collectible I missed before. That's more like it. Okay, these service tunnels go on for a while. I was a little concerned I wasn't finding... Whoa. Are you a cleric by chance? In Dark Souls? I played as a knight. I think all my stats were average, except I had purple eyes. Just because, you know, purple's my favorite color, and that was, for some reason, an option. And I ran around with an axe and a shield. I was a blunt physical instrument. I don't think I ever learned to cast a single spell. That's not true. I used a spell once or twice, but never for anything useful. I just experimented to verify that I kind of understood how the magic worked. Like, you have to know the spell and have, like, some kind of wand thing to use it. You know, so some of there are various interpretations of wands, it seems, in the game. Trusty Patches was in the Tomb of Giants. Oh yeah, that guy. What a riot that guy is. On a Zelda note, I have a friend who's 99.7% complete with tears. I can't even begin to fathom 100%ing that game. I think Master Tuesday did that to 100%. Yeah, I don't expect our playthrough is going to get to 100%. You know, if a huge percentage of the chat like is really vocal about wanting 100%, I enjoy the game enough to be open to considering it, but I think we're just gonna kind of be happy with whatever I end up on. Like, I do plan to do more. I do plan to do 100% of most of the, like, more reasonable, finite categories of stuff to do. You know, like, filling in 100% of the map, doing 100% of the shrines, like, that kind of stuff feels obvious to do, and definitely going to. Like, but all the Koroks and all the side quests, probably not. Oh, you were making a reference to the game. I didn't get it. As I so often do not. Hey Persephone, welcome in. Hope your weekend has treated you well, and welcome to more Illusion Island. It's a chill night tonight on stream. I'm playing a game that's not torture. This whole area is the service tunnels. There's so many areas of the map where it's like 2 square inches. Every 2 square inches is a whole different area, and then the service tunnel is just goes on for like the size of Texas. Slept 18 hours each day. If I didn't have to eat and watch Frownie, I might sleep 24 hours a day. I'm glad I can at least be here for you, Persephone. I'm sorry things are so rough for you. I just hope you hang in there. Hopefully someday, you know, we're gonna be able to, hopefully someday I'll be able to celebrate with you when things turn around. I remember finding this earlier in the game. I remember, I don't know if you remember this, but before we got the ability to take photos of these, I stopped by this flower and I was like, there's a whole lot of things in this game that are shaped like Mickey Mouse heads. Like, I stopped and commented on this. Little did I know it was going to turn out to be a collectible. I'd have to track down every one of them. I stopped gaming, and I was like, I want to try and play Starfield. I meet all the requirements and Windows updated where it needs to. Still not working. That's, unfortunately, that's way outside, like, my area of, like... I only play console games because I'm not clever enough to figure out how to make, PC games work. Oh, thank you, Waz, for the gift sub. Very much appreciated. Thank you for your kind support, my friend. And Persephone, take a key for coming in. I've heard pretty mixed things about Starfield. Some people are saying it gets really good, especially particularly late into the game, but a lot of other people are kind of bored with it. I don't imagine it's a game I'm ever going to get around to playing, so... But Bethesda games, I've had fun with a couple Bethesda games in the past. Like, I played a little bit of Oblivion, not a very small amount. I actually got soft locked in it pretty early on, so that quickly killed my experience with it. And I probably put 100 hours or so into Skyrim. I didn't do any of the story. It was all just wandering the map and crawling through basically an endless series of the same cave over and over again. But I had fun doing it. New Vegas is still my favorite one. Funnily enough, not developed by Bethesda. I hear New Vegas is good. I haven't played any of the Fallout games, though. A friend showed me some of Fallout 3 once upon a time, when that was like a more current thing. But I don't... I don't know a meaningful amount of that one either. They're big games. Like, I get what people like about them. Like, they're real big games. So, like, you know, the fun... I get the, like, fun to, like, explore and, you know, they've got lots of side quests to complete and, you know, lots of characters to meet and interact with. So, like, I get what makes them appeal to people. But, they're kind of too big for me, and they're big in a lot of the wrong areas for me. Right? Because I don't care for all like the dialogue and the talking to people and stuff like that. It's the wandering around and you're finding cool places to go and monsters to fight and treasure to pick up. That's like what calls to me. And that feels, I don't know, that got to feel pretty samey. Maybe I didn't look hard enough for cool areas, though. Hey, Bort Jams, good evening. Let's go back to watching people play games, as in just Frownie. I'm certainly grateful to have you here, Persephone. It's my good luck that you enjoy the stream. You know, hopefully, you know. You know, you'll find some games that you like yourself. Something will grab your interest to get you to pick it up and actually work out for you. You're not wrong, Wass says. I remember the first time, because like Oblivion was the first Bethesda game I ever saw, and the first time like my friend showed it to me, I remember being just amazed. It just, wow, there's a game with a big world like this, and the characters walk around. It was like Majora's Mask, right? When I saw Oblivion for the first time, I was like, wow, like this is like. Someone took Majora's Mask and, like, boosted it with the power of, you know, another generation or two, and I guess 2? It's just like, wow, this is amazing. Because I was always amazed by Majora's Mask, you know, how all the characters have, like, their own lives and daily routines, and yeah, they're pretty simple, but, I mean, I guess the ones in Oblivion are pretty simple too, a lot of them, but it really kind of felt like a world, and that was very cool. NPCs can arrest me? Wow. Port Jam says, got my tickets for PAX Australia 23. Just arrived today. Right on. I don't know how far off into the future that is for you. I hope you're safe at the convention and you have a great time. Meet some cool people, pick up some cool collectibles. Ah, that's what I was looking for. Thanks, Frownie. No problem. No problem, my friend. Want you to have a good time. I've never been out to a convention like that. They seem a bit you know, they seem kind of crowded for my taste. I'm kind of a stay away from large crowds kind of person. I feel like I would feel pretty overwhelmed, but I'm sure it's really exciting. You know, a lot of things that you get to do at them. Alright, let's head back out. Wow, it's been a long time. It's been a long time. We've been going for 4.5 hours. Probably gonna go about another hour and a half with this. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how much many of these collectibles I can get, and then at least get ourselves on track to the continuing story before things are wrapped up. I kind of started the stream off this week with 2 very low energy nights because we've got we're doing this tonight, right? Which is, you know, pretty laid back game, and tomorrow night we're playing Mario is Missing, which is also very laid back. For those who might want it, here again in the chat is the schedule for this week. I've just got 1 game scheduled each night, and if we finish what's on the schedule, now this isn't promised because it's not necessarily super likely, but if we finish what's on the schedule and I have a couple hours left to stream, I think we'll use our bonus time this week, and we'll go back to Jump King, and I'll see if I can make any progress in that. I've tried it a couple nights, and it's been pretty terrible both times, but I think we're long overdue for a revival of that. So if I have extra time at the end of a stream, that's where we'll fit in some Jump King. I really think tomorrow night is the best candidate for that. The Tears of the Kingdom we're not going to finish. Wario Land 3 probably not going to finish. Aladdin is kind of a wild card. I don't know about that. That depends if my luck changes with the collectibles I'm missing. And Ghosts and Goblins, Super Ghouls and Ghosts probably. Well, maybe. We might have time on Friday night too. Yeah, Mario's Missing. We've actually played a little bit of it already. I'm actually really enjoying it. Like, I get why, like, anyone who came across it as a kid probably hates it, because why wouldn't you? But actually, going into it and knowing, like, what it is, like, what to expect from it, it's actually a really chill game, and it's actually a lot of fun. And it's like, it's kind of, for an educational game, it's actually rather mindless, but yeah, it's really comfy. It's a comfy game to watch. It's a comfy game to play. I wish this was not a one-way trip. That makes me, because this part of the map makes me confused. I can't disagree there. Going from Ghosts and Goblins to Mario's Missing is very funny, though. I am a gamer of wide and eclectic interests. In a good way, of course. I'm actually really happy we started Mario's Missing, because that was sort of an unplanned thing. In August, it's been something of a stream tradition in August to do a night called the Back to School stream, where I try and play a set of edutainment games, which is sort of an artificial event because there's no reason that I wouldn't play stuff like that on every other night of the year. So giving a stream a special title specifically to play those kinds of games is really a farce. but I do it anyway. Last year we played some Sesame Street games on the NES, and we played all the Mario preschool games on the Super Nintendo. So like preschool fun and Mario's numbers and Mario's letters. And those were terribly dull. There was little redeeming quality to those. But then this year, I found a whole bunch of Sesame Street games on the Game Boy Color, and I thought they'd probably take up the whole night, but then they didn't, and I was like, well, when I ran out of Sesame Street games last year, I played a Mario edutainment game, so let me go grab Mario's Missing. So it was kind of brought in on the fly, and I'm really happy it was because I've been enjoying it. Oh, this is great. This whole area up here. New collectibles to get there. Number munchers win. What platform would that be on? That might be doable. We had Sonic Schoolhouse on the computers in school. I've never heard of that one. I wouldn't say no to a piece of Sonic edutainment. It's bad. I'm shocked. Oh no, Windows 95. I was hoping you would tell me Commodore 64. It's on DOS and Mac. Windows 95 could play DOS and Mac games natively. Didn't know that. They made games in the series well into the late 90s, you think? Need to find Number Munch and Math Blaster. They'd make an excellent pair, right? Is this a crayon? It is. There's lots of crayons over here. We should probably start leaning a little heavily into the 50 video games included too. We talked about it a little earlier tonight, but I started that in November of last year, and we're still not done with it. I should I mean, it's kind of a tricky one though, because I don't really want it to run out, but still, we shouldn't let it languish forever. I'm old. I hear educational games. I'm like, oh yeah, Number Muncher and Oregon Trail. Oregon Trail I played a little bit of. I never played Number Muncher. I don't think I ever even played Math Blaster. I've just heard about it a lot. Oregon Trail we played a little bit of. The librarian at my school had that on her computer. And we get to play every now and then. Aim all the characters after our classmates and laugh at them when horrible conditions befell them. Also had the Yukon Trail later in elementary school. Oh, this is all the same area. I wasn't aware of that. Okay. Okay, well, we've done now everything except this. We need to head over to this residential area, base of the city, and we work our way down to the library. All right, that'd be just fine. This is all working out very well. Wasn't edutainment, but we also had the Scarab of Raw. I don't know that one either. Amazon Trail, that game was nuts. Is there anywhere you cannot blaze a trail? In 90s PC edutainment. With your Windows 95 computer, you can go anywhere. It was Oregon Trail, but CD-ROM technology. I think there were later updates of Oregon Trail that were on CD too, right? Basically a point-and-click adventure. I remember having a CD version with FMV cutscenes and voice dialogue. Not sure what my parents bought it, but hey. After the Commodore, I don't think we ever had any games on our family computer. I don't think we ever had another game. Except Solitaire, Minesweeper. But nothing like no CDs or. floppy disks. We got a game once. I think we got like a Christmas-themed video game from a box of Captain Crunch one time, but we couldn't get it to work on our computer. So we owned a game, but we never played it. My sister had a few games later on. I remember my sister having a few games on her computer, but I think that was after I had already left for college that she got that computer. But she had some of those tycoon games, like a Zoo Tycoon. So that wasn't really me though. Like I said, I was already out of there, but it was in the house I grew up in. That's all I got. Actually, it wasn't, necessarily the house I grew up in either, because we'd moved. Actually, it looks like the original developer for Scarab Raw released a port for M1 Max and iOS just last year. Now's your chance to see if it holds up. I guess I'm supposed to come down from the other side in this situation. Did I check all this area down here? It looks very empty. It looks empty because it is empty. I just played it like 5 months ago. It's still fine. Fair enough. Yeah, let's go get a piece of health from over here. Too bad we can't get any goodies from the capsule machine. And oh, is this a flower pot with teeth? I don't think I noticed that thing before. This place over here is chaos. It looks like the Brave Little Toaster. All those cassette tapes and tube TVs. Whoa, that was close. Okay, we just have one card and a couple glimpse, if this book even works. Oh, did I pass that already? direction was I moving in? The Book of Botany strikes again. Gosh, Mickey. All right, base of the city, and then we're there's a whole secret area over here too. But once we finish with the base of the city, I think we'll have 100%ed all of the top portion, except the one book area we can't get to yet. So that'll be great. And maybe we'll spend some time over here in the left area. Oh my goodness, there's so much. There's so much to it. The story continues over here on the right, though, so that's why I figured we'd clear out the other ones first. Base of the city. Here we come, eventually. No! I'm heading into yet another dead end. That dopamine from filling the Metroidvania map in. It's mostly from watching these little 100% ribbons appear is what's really driving me at the moment. Every time one of those 100% ribbons shows up, my heart grows an extra size. So we've got a card. We know where that is. We've got... That's it. And a bunch of... Alright, so it's just a card and a few... glimpse. I don't think there's anything left down here, but while we're in the neighborhood, I should probably go ahead and check. Yeah, this place looks good. No. We're on the right track. Ow. Oh, this is all stuff I could have done a very long time ago, too. Crescent Hamlet. The original home of the people of Ostrono is a small and sleepy coastal village named Crescent Hamlet. This quaint fishing town was once a popular tourist location, however, things have quieted down, with people now spending most of their time in Ostrono within Craters Bay or the sky below. The most famous permanent resident here is someone called the Old Timer. Rumored to be the oldest living person in Monmouth, she still lives in a small harbor house and goes out every day to fish in the last remaining puddle of traditional water. So they did have real water at some point. I thought all water was moon juice. Some Dark Souls lore. Yeah, it actually has a really deep lore to the game. I keep stopping to read it. It's got all these like character things too. I've been looking at all these, but I haven't been reading all these. All right, pokey in every sense of the word. Sharpiks are slow-moving slugs covered in spikes found in most regions of the island. They're non-combative, but adept in self-preservation, and their spikes can deal some serious damage. But there's like 100 of these. I was like, I think I'll read all the lure cards, but I don't know if I need to read all the character cards. I think listening to me read is probably the least enjoyable part of any stream, so... I'm curious about a few parts. I'm curious about the lore cards, but I'll not I'll try not to subject everyone to too much more than just that. Oh no. I can't actually get up into this area. There must be a secret entrance somewhere. Let's see. Oh, maybe over here there's another. Maybe there's an entrance if you climb up over here. Alright, well, so much for that. I was talking about how when the world was created, the moon cracked open and water poured out to fill the oceans, and they call that the sky below and stuff. And like, it's got a lot going on in the lore. There's a giant bird called the Highness that watches over everything. Yeah, let's go over here to heal. We'll go down there and get those first, actually. Why a mustard bottle? Who thought that was a good idea? I don't like it. I don't want anything to do with it. I forgot that Goofy's rope was a row of sausage links. I do love that. Oh, nice. Another raid. We are so very lucky. Shout out to our friend Rad from Radland. Welcome in, Rad. How did Forza treat you tonight, my friend? And welcome to your friends. Welcome in, you raidy rascals. I hope you're having a good time tonight. My friends, if you want to check out Rad's stream, he's got a very high energy, high comedy stream. Humongous production value. Broadcasts from a space station. And he does all kinds of incredible stuff. He goes through comparing. He's been doing a project for a while, comparing retro games across platforms in sort of a console Cold War. We are lucky to have you. We are lucky to have you here, Rad. I hope you're doing well. Never heard of this one before. This is Disney Illusion Island on the Switch. It's kind of a Metroidvania. I would say if you can imagine Hollow Knight with no combat, it's basically that, and it's pretty good. It's on the lower end of challenge, so that might not be to people's liking. Although there are some options. It gives you a decent amount of options for cranking the difficulty up if you do want to torture yourself with it. You can make it one-hit kills. You can turn off a lot of the things that make finding the collectibles viable. So you got a few options, but it's it is kind of on the easier side, but it's a lot of fun. It's got really great movement to it. You got a jump and a double jump, all the standard stuff, wall kicks and swingings, but it's nice and fluid, and it's got tons of collectibles to go around and find. So it's a good sort of chill kind of game. We've been having a laid back night with it. That's real good. Let's welcome in also. Who do we have here? Kay, is that Yfall? Welcome in. Thank you for coming along. The Juker, there's a name I recognize. Hey, getting goofy with it tonight. That we are. Welcome in, Juker. Rad says, yes, the 2002 season is still the ultimate goal for the console Cold War. Right on. I think I actually like easy games. As long as the game is low on the fluff, I'm on board. Well, I guess that would depend to what degree you consider collectibles filler content. if you find tracking down a whole bunch of collectibles kind of tedious, it could get onto your nerves a bit in places. A lot of the collectibles, to be fair, a lot of them are hidden behind little challenge rooms. So you get to do a bit of the game's like tougher platforming to actually pick them up. But others are just kind of out of the way, a little backtracky, you know. I think we are going to go for 100%. I usually, you know, a game with a finite set of specific collectibles, it becomes real difficult for me to for me to not 100% it. I don't know if we need to go to the left or the right first. I guess we'll go to the left first. I like collecting stuff if it unlocks things. It does. The collectibles do unlock things. They're mostly bits of lore that you get from collecting. The game has a surprisingly deep and weird lore to it. We hear a lot about the creation of the universe and how there's a giant bird who used 3 mystical books to crack open the moon and fill the ocean with the water that leaked out. And I may be jumbling the story a bit, but the general idea is there. Kirby is the ultimate proof that a game can be both easy and good. Are Kirby games easy? I find Kirby games to be really easy for like 95% of the ride, and then you unlock the true final boss, and it's worse than Dark Souls. I know what you mean, but I have struggled with so many Kirby final bosses. Oh my goodness. Some of my most traumatic gaming experiences have been at the hands of Kirby final bosses. Or just some of the collectibles. I'm permanently scarred from Kirby's Dream Land 2. I never shut up about that game. That game changed me. Tried to find some of the rainbow drops in that game. It was a nightmare of hours of trying to find the puzzle solutions. Oh my goodness. Extra modes can be tough. Oh yeah. Hard or easy doesn't matter if the game is actually built around it. Yeah. And I don't, I like games on both ends. I'm perfectly happy to play a laid back game. Don't get me wrong. But I do feel like, it is worth my taste generally lean toward having more of a challenge. So when a game is easy, I kind of can't help myself but point it out. And I mean, this hasn't been a complete cakewalk. I've definitely lost several lives. You can very much get hurt, and health refills are somewhat few and far between. So, there is a definite sense of danger. Wessie D, welcome in. Thank you for coming along. You just woke up. Well, we're very happy to have you here. I heard that the new Kirby game actually got hard at the end. I struggled with that. Yeah, Kirby and the Forgotten Land, if that's the one you mean. Oh boy, I struggled with the last boss in that for quite a while. It was a few nights. I felt pretty hopeless. We did clear it, but yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Like oh boy, like yeah, most of that game was it was really mild, and then I never thought I was gonna make it through that last boss. The last the last Colosseum was I struggled with that a whole lot, which included well, a rematch with the boss, but the boss itself was pretty tough. Thank you, thank you for the follow, Kay. If I may call you Kay, very much appreciate having you on board with us. There are definitely Kirby bosses that are more difficult than Souls bosses, but Souls difficulty is somewhat overhyped. To be fair, I didn't find it's Dark Souls. It is a little overhyped in some places. There were parts of Dark Souls that I found very easy. But I mean, it's a good point of comparison. Even if it is some exaggerated, it's convenient to have a game that you can point to that like everyone knows the level of difficulty you mean when you bring up its name. So I am guilty of contributing to the overhype. There are parts of there are definitely there was definitely a lot of Dark Souls that like grinded my bones into paste though. So I don't want to talk it down too much either, because I'm still scared it might come back and get me. Some games do that to you. Mega Man Zero is an example of an absurd extra unlockable difficulty. So we are, if it's your first time here on the stream, again, thank you for checking out what we do over here. I'm Frownie, of course. I stream most weeknights. I usually start at pretty late, around 11 p.m. to midnight in the central time zone. And we go for about 6 hours most nights. I'm overwhelmingly a retro streamer. I like anything between the Commodore 64 to the PlayStation 2, with the NES to N64 being my real sweet spot. Some of the things we're up to currently you can actually see in the chat here. That's the schedule for the week. I like really tough, like brutally hard platformers are some of my favorite games. I also like broken jank shovelware a lot. So you could see that kind of stuff in addition to games of actual quality. I prioritize an extremely strictly blind playthrough style. Likely more so than most people you've come across. I won't read the back of the box because it's too many spoilers. So I very often don't know what I'm doing, or I'm playing the game wrong. And I struggle and suffer for it. But I like the weird experiences that sometimes result from it, and I really like the moments of discovery when I'm able to figure out a mechanic that's so obtuse you never should be able to. So it's usually sometimes almost worth it to play the way I do. We're mostly a pretty family friendly stream. I will play an M-rated game from time to time, but I'm pretty good about giving heads up about that. And it's just supposed to be, you know, a pretty chill, sort of comfy environment. Late night, unwind, relax, forget about the world, and enjoy a dummy like me suffering and crying his way through games that are way too hard for him. Hey Pookie Stan, welcome in. Are you able to switch characters, or is this a second playthrough? You can switch characters every time you go back to the main menu, Pookie. The characters are it's only aesthetic difference between the characters. So yeah, it lets you switch. I don't think there's any way to switch in game, but you can definitely switch. Oh, I missed a thing back here. I got to go back to this area. I go back left for a moment. Right now I'm on my way to the next like main story piece of this game, but I'm taking my time because I'm trying to pick up collectibles on the way. There are a lot of areas now where I've gotten all the abilities the game is going to give me. So I should, well, all except one. So I should be able to pick up the vast majority of the collectibles, and that's what we're doing now as we pass through each area. So it's a little wandery right now. You can also, I believe you can also actually change the difficulty at any time by backing out to the main menu, because it gave me that option too. So it's really generous in letting you sort of change the way you're playing mid-game. All right, let me back the chat up here. I'm a little slow, so I missed a few things that people had to say. Commodore 64 content is really rare. We just played some last week. We played Street Beat and Pitfall 1 and 2. I tried to do Beachhead 2 as well, but I couldn't find a copy of that one that would work for whatever reason. All my first video games were Commodore 64. When I was real little, my dad had a C64, and I played things like Dino Eggs and Donkey Kong and Pac-Man and Ghostbusters, Spy vs. Spy, Congo Bongo and Jungle Hunt, and like those are a lot of like my very first games. So I'm overwhelmingly a console guy. And I like to do, I'm kind of lucky. I've got a nice physical retro console collection. So I do stuff on real hardware a lot, as often as I'm able. But I don't know a whole lot about PC games. C64 is pretty much where my PC gaming begins and ends. And that's the one thing that I can't do on real hardware. I don't have the money or time or skills to keep an old microcomputer up and running. So for that, we use like the C64 Mini, which is it's a convenient little emulation box. But I struggle with it. I think I've got a lot of user error problems. When it works, it's a dream, but sometimes getting it to work is a nightmare. Wow, we've already cleared out a lot of these areas. There's a lot of 100% ribbons over here. Cool. We're gonna be at the next story bit in kind of no time. Just some of this kind of dark purple area over here. All the pink looks like it's good. So yeah, let's go back up and around. We do Commodore 64 stuff. I try to do Commodore 64 stuff about once every 2 weeks, give or take. So we did some last week. I'll probably have a C64 night on the schedule next week. And I'm usually pretty open to game recommendations. I say that with an asterisk. Like, I like when people point me in the direction of cool C64 games, but at the same time, I'm not always able to find copies that work very well. I think it's an issue with the Mini a lot of times, but it is nice when someone points me in the direction of a game I haven't heard about. Sweet. Oh, Rad finished the mission he was on. Right on. That was a good pitch, Frownie. Oh, thank you, Waz. I mean, it's mostly the same description I give out. It's kind of wordy, but at least you now have a very clear idea of what you're gonna get if you decide to hang out with us. That's cool. It lets you switch, even if it's just aesthetics. Yeah. And I mean, it kind of had to be just aesthetics. Well, it didn't have to be, but you would kind of. I think it's pretty natural to assume it would just be aesthetics because the characters exist for the 4-player multiplayer. It's got simultaneous, I believe. Yeah, it's got simultaneous 4-player multiplayer. And so, you know, if the characters were all different, they'd probably be improperly balanced, and then some people are going to be having a lot more fun than others. Street Beat is a really cool game. Street Beat's so hard. I don't think I'm ever going to finish a loop of it, but boy, I'd like to. Okay. What am I missing here? And where is it? It's probably down here. Do I want to crawl into that area? Guess so. Down we go. The one big thing I wish they had done differently about this game is I wish that the map came up as a transparent overlay instead of a separate screen. Because I have to flip back to it a whole lot, and it's kind of jarring. 4-player would be awesome for anyone who can coax others into playing an adventure this long. Yeah, I kind of struggle to imagine what it would be like with 4 players. It would probably, I actually think it probably wouldn't be quite as much fun. Because it'd be really, I imagine it'd be really zoomed out, and it'd be hard to keep everyone together, I think. I think you'd wind up with a lot of people falling into spikes several times as sort of the result of the difficulty in keeping everyone close. No, Alright, beautiful. Another 100% area. You can hug each other in multiplayer. I thought I saw something about that, and it's somewhere it said something about hugs, and I was like, I don't know what that means. Good night, chat. Good night, Frownie. Good luck with the rest of the stream. Thank you, Angelus. Thank you again for the raid. Good luck with ActRaiser 2. Have a wonderful night, and we'll see you again, my friend. We're going to be doing Mario is Missing on the Super NES tomorrow night. I've actually already started it. We've done a couple nights with it so far. I don't know how far I am. I don't know how big the game is, but at the least we have a third of it left, from what I can tell, and probably more. I actually like Mario's Missing has a terrible reputation, and I get it. Because if you went into it not knowing what it was, or if you got it as a kid, the 100% I understand why people would hate it. But playing it as an adult and like knowing that it's gonna be like an educational game, I'm actually having a ton of fun with it. It's a really like laid back, sort of comfy experience. It's low stress. You get to wander around and see some cool things. It's not that bad. It's got some really fun music too. The Mario theme or whatever gets remixed for all like different parts of the world, and it's all right. Oh, let's heal, please. Hang on a moment. Over here, I want to say something about this. No! When I look at this map, I can't help... Like, I can't see this as the same two, maybe three, arguably, constellations repeated over and over again. I look at this like it's a map of the night sky in this world, and this sky only has 3 constellations, but they actually are duplicated all across the sky. And I just think, how terribly useless. If the point of constellations is like to help you navigate at sea, if you were to look up in the sky and see a pattern of the same constellations just repeated across the sky again and again and again, lots of luck finding your way. Oh, how are you supposed to see that? One of the difficulty options, one of the things you can turn off, there are these hidden Mickey faces. There's one in that barrel over there. I don't like if you look real hard, you can just kind of see it. You're supposed to find those, and you can find them pretty easily because there's a sound cue that happens when you get near. Those 2 notes. Boom, boom. And then also this thing appears above your head. And so, like, now I know I'm in front of it. So, there, it's collected. One of the difficulty options it gives you in the menu, you can turn off those cues. So you have to find these things completely blind. And look at how some of them are hidden. There's no way. We would be playing this game for 12 years if I had to find that. I'm probably looking for that same one right there. Where those constellations meet, secret sky meets. I mean, I think so, kind of. I think they were whales. A whale is a mammal, right? So you wouldn't consider a whale seafood, would you? I don't know what the rule is. Is whale meat seafood? I don't think a mammal can be seafood. That's actually a really good question. I've never thought about it until now, but you broke my brain. 100%. Tell my friend who's a marine biologist that, and he'll tell you how loose the definition of fish is. My brother visited Barrow, Alaska, and he did eat muktuk, which is whale blubber. I know you can eat I know you can eat whale. I think I remember. Let me look this up before I share this because I think I might be wrong. I want to double check. Hmm. All right. So I am wrong, but it's not my fault. I played a board game called Boulder Dash once upon a time, and it's a game built around like obscure words that general people aren't likely to know the definition of. So basically, the players create bogus definitions, and then your task is to figure out the true one. If you haven't played the game, but one of the words was gurry, Gurry, and the game defined it as leftover whale meat, and that always stuck with me. I never bothered to look it up until right now, but it always stuck with me because like leftover whale meat. Why wouldn't it be just this one term for whale meat? Why did you need a separate word for when it's leftovers? Like there's no food like that. It's not like if I have a hamburger and I eat half of it and put the other half in the fridge, I'm going to call it something different the next day. It's still going to be a hamburger. So why would leftover whale meat have a different word for it? And it doesn't. The game defined it wrong apparently cuz I just did a quick Google search to fact check that. I've never checked it in 15 years or however long ago it was I learned that definition. But apparently the word isn't leftover whale meat. It's for whale entrails. It's the like the the uh the offal, the like the the parts that aren't aren't really the meat, but like I mean like organs, I guess. Like whale tripe. So that makes sense. But I've been spending a decade and a half thinking that if you couldn't finish your whale dinner, you had to call the meat something different the next day. uh, Leftovers transform into a different thing, Pookie says. Organ meat, yeah. Alright. It's just down here, right? No, Homestead is good. Star Island is down here? Is down here Star Island? No, it's just the top part. What am I missing? One of those. It's weird because it should be on the map. All right. Well, anyway, we're good. It doesn't really. It doesn't really matter. We've got to head down here. We'll have to look around anyway. I explained this before, but the momentum, the direction of your swing, doesn't matter what direction you're moving when you swing. It matters which direction you're facing. So if I jump at this and then I turn around, if I jump at this and then I turn around and hit the button, I'll swing back up against momentum in a way that makes no sense. But it's actually kind of useful in a few areas of the game. It's really odd that the swing works like that, but I'm glad it does. I'm sure this game's speedrunning community is going to find all kinds of uses for that. Or at least have as much fun with it as I do. Time to beat procrastination. One final push till cleaning is done. I'm going to force myself to clean till the job is finally done. This is the end of something that's taken several days worth of work, so adios for now. Adios, Pookie. I certainly wish you lots of luck. It is, lots of luck. It is very, you know, I'm sure it's going to be very satisfying having a multi-day task like that all wrapped up. So maybe we'll see you again when you get back. I don't know, depending on how long it takes you. We might be wrapped up before then, but if I don't see you, good luck and be well, Pookie. Thank you for stopping in with us. As much as I'd love to hang, gotta round up the dogs and get to bed, Waz says. It was fun watching. Try to catch you next time. Much love. Thank you, Waz. Thank you again for the gift sub. Thank you for being here with me. I really appreciate you. And yeah, hopefully we'll catch you next time. I should be around most of the week. I have something planned for every night of the week, so as long as nothing makes me cancel, they should be good. I'm not even searching the right area. I'm over here looking for the collectible, and it's another chunk of the map over. Alright, so near shore is more of the deeper part. Am I only missing that one thing? Only missing that one thing. So these are near shore collectibles. That doesn't help me. Oh no. cliffs? Oh, maybe it's up here. I don't know. There's not a whole lot of spot for this. There's not a whole lot of spots for this last thing to be hiding out, and yet. It is doing a pretty good job thwarting my efforts. Oh, rip. I mean, whatever's up there we already got. Oh, hang on. No? There probably was something up there and I just already got it. Gee, I don't know where this... Oh, hang on. Here it is. Ah, that's what we want. Okay. The 100%. Beautiful. Now we're ready to move on. Now we got it. That was good. That was good. They put that one that had me scratching my head. That's for sure. Yeah, they got me good with that one. The swimming in this is pretty great. It's very smooth and natural. You just use the control stick. You don't have to like you don't have to tap a button to like flap your arms or legs or anything. It just moves forward. It's super easy swimming. You can tap the button to torpedo yourself into doors to break them open too. Oh, I see that. Secret over here. Nice. Gorge. It's mostly a pretty good looking game. Like, you know, it's got some pretty beautiful locations, and it's interesting to move through. It is like the environments are kind of really cluttered in some areas, and that's definitely by design, but it can still be a bit much. The like machine area at the top of the world is like just full of so much clutter. Hey, cool. The near shore is good. We actually got everything here. First pass. Whoa. I backed away from the other side because that side looked like progress, so I thought this side would be a bonus area. Now this side looks like progress, and I regret my decision. Oh no, I also regret my decision to fall in these spikes. Oh my. Card on the left. That always happens to me as well. Yeah, I'm always like, oh, which side's progress? No. It's all right. The more I take the wrong path and have to backtrack, that's just the longer I get to play the game, right? It's not a have-to situation, it's a get-to situation. I don't think this one should count as one of the hidden Mickey Mouses. It's clearly a no sign. I think that's an anti-Mickey Mouse, and I think it should take one of our collectibles away. In some games it's really frustrating. Some of them have these areas as missables. Oh, like things like you mean like permanently missable? Like if you don't get it on your first pass, you can never get it. I hate situations like that. Yeah, that's terrible. I don't think that should ever be in a game. I haven't, I know there's at least one situation like that in Mario RPG. I don't know that game very well. I've never played it all the way through, but I believe, if I'm not mistaken, there's a collectible coin that you can permanently miss real early in the game. Those are bad situations. MGRV is an example that comes to mind on the top of my head. I'm not sure what that is. A Metal Gear game? Oh. There's a card right over there. Metal Gear Rising Revengeance. I didn't know what the V stood for. I would have had. I should have went ahead and said the R too. I guess the Metal Gear corrected. I could have got the Rising, but I didn't know what the V was, so I hesitated. pretty sure, like, when you die, you don't even lose the collectibles that you picked up. There's really no penalty for death in this game, except a little bit of backtracking, just to physically walk back to where you were. That's the only penalty for losing a life. It's really lenient, this game. Oh, wow. Okay, that wears off. Oh. Huh, this is a... Oh, this is an interesting little puzzle it has for us here. I see what it wants. So, activate that platform. Alright, cool. That works. Nice. This seems like a really chill game to play. Yeah, this is nice. Last week was like the exact opposite experience for me. I was playing Echo the Dolphin on the Game Boy Advance, and I was playing Contra Advance, and both of those games are horrifically frustrating. So it was just hour upon hour of agony struggling through those games, and so like it's very nice to have I feel like I've earned the comfy game. Echo is really intense. Yeah, I can't stop bragging about it because it was so rough. It's actually the second time I've been through it. I played Echo on the Genesis last year, and that was just a nightmare of brutality I never thought I'd recover from. And then a month or two ago, I learned that there was an Echo the Dolphin on the Game Boy Advance that actually got ported over. It's part of a multi-cart, but I was like, oh wow, there's an even worse version of the game that I hate most in the world. I've got to play that. And so we did, and I did indeed regret every moment of it, but I made it through, so it's all worth it now. I remember playing it on Genesis. It was quite the experience. There's so much I would love. There's so many reasons that I would love to love that game, right? Because it looks great. It's got a lot of really good music in it. The GBA version does not have really good music in it. They stripped out all the music for the GBA version. There's just one 10-second loop that plays for the whole game. It's super gross. But like the Genesis game, right, looks great. It's got great music. It's got a weird, wacky, just off-the-rails story that's all kinds of crazy and fun. But the gameplay is so brutal and frustrating and punishing, and it's devastating. I can't like it. I can't like it. Yeah, I had to beat the last boss twice to figure out they took the ending cutscene out of the final port too. When I beat it, I thought I did something wrong. I was stunned, and so I went back and beat it a second time just to be sure. I actually turned around and beat the boss really quickly though at the second time, like. So that wasn't really that bad, but it was awful that they took the ending out and left me in confusion. The Saturn and PC version said to be the definitive version of the game. They actually adjusted the difficulty. Genesis version was aimed toward rentals. I figure I'll check out the... I think there's a Sega CD version, right? That's probably the same as the Saturn version. I don't know. I'm kind of thinking I'm thinking I'm gonna play every version of Echo at some point. It's just kind of become a part of my life. So hopefully there's better versions out there, because I've really had some bad times with the ones I've already been through. More games need non-rental motivated ports. Yeah, the whole last level and final boss of that game is just inexcusable. They made it so punishing. I don't understand how that I don't really understand how that theory works too, because it's not something that I think would ever work on me personally. The idea of like, oh, if we make the game too easy, they'll beat it when they rent it and then they won't buy it. It's like I get that side of the logic, but the reverse side of the logic is if I rent a game and it's horrifically difficult and I hate every minute of it, I'm also not gonna buy it. So it's sort of a lose-lose situation. I don't really see how that plan is actually supposed to work, because then, like, not only am I not gonna buy it, I'm not gonna rent it again. I'm gonna tell everyone else how terrible it is. It was the Sega CD. Thought it was the Saturn, actually. I know it's on a few things, so I wouldn't have been surprised to see it on both. I was pretty sure Sega CD. I was pretty sure it was on Sega CD at least, though, because I saw someone playing it just like 3 or 4 days ago, and I thought that was what the artwork in the corner of their stream was from. Did I get everything up there? I think so. I'm really just like I'm really abusing the this game's like generosity with the loss of life, because I'm just kind of struggling my way barely to each of the collectibles and then dying, and that's turning out to be my means of escape. I don't know, you'd be surprised how many times I rented Lester the Unlikely because it was one of the only rental carts available. I guess if you gotta pick out a game for the weekend and there's nothing else there, I guess like any port in a storm, right? I don't even know if I welcomed you in, Eddie, but very much welcome to the stream, and thank you for joining us, by the way. I am, as always, grateful to have you here. I feel like I've been reading your comments without actually acknowledging you. I like this artwork of this chili pepper over here. This looks good. Actually, you know what? I wanted to say I like this sort of abstract angular chili pepper. But the thing is, the more I look at it, it kind of looks like a big gulp soda can with a straw coming out the top and a tentacle on the bottom. And now I like it even more. Elf shoe with a straw. Oh. Oh, that's something, I don't like that. I don't like that at all. That happened to me with Sonic 3D Blast, Judge Dredd, Dick Tracy, all for the Genesis. I've only played 3D Blast. Boy, Sonic 3D Blast, what a terrible game. I really, I have a real strong, I can't get into isometric, I can't get into isometric movement in the game, so that game was kind of doomed from the start for me. But, oh boy, that game gets rough. I'm a Mario guy. I grew up with Nintendo stuff, so I come in a little bit biased, but I did finally try, like, most of the Sonic games on the Genesis, and I had a really good time with them. But not 3D Blast. Nice little button pressing puzzle we've got here. Uh-oh. Not really a puzzle, more just a task. Ended up buying Judge Dredd and Dick Tracy when the rental was selling them before closing. That already sold 3D Blast, sadly. I mean, picking up a used terrible game is a little different from buying a new terrible game, though, right? It doesn't have, and especially when you already know what you're getting into, it doesn't have quite the sting anymore, right? Oh, there it is. I'm dead. I snapped the photo right before I died. Isometric games that aren't mouse-click movement are painful, yeah. And particularly, like I can wander around an isometric 3D environment if it's like a laid-back kind of thing. I still don't prefer it. But, you know, if it's like... if it's not like a high-action game, then... it's not really that big of a deal, but any kind of platformer or action game that's isometric, throw it in the trash, please. I grew up with the Genesis, played most of my games there in my childhood. So I had the C64. It was the or my dad's C64 is how I first started playing anything. We had an Atari 2600 for a brief while, but I remember nothing about it. It basically might as well have not existed, but I do remember having it. But after that, we got the NES, and then it was just all Nintendo stuff for me from then on. And really, like, I almost never encountered anything that wasn't Nintendo. One of my aunts had a Sega Genesis. I think the only game I remember her having was Sonic Spinball. One of my cousins had a Game Gear. He had a Sonic game, and a Power Rangers game, and a puzzle game called Slider. That was very cool. I mean, I don't know how it holds up, but I loved it back then. And I had a friend, my best friend in high school, he had a PlayStation and then some other, he had like a Dreamcast and a PS2 that he picked up, like, over the course of us knowing each other. But like, it was really just, I don't know. I mean, I lived in a pretty small community, so there wasn't a huge amount of people to draw from. But, you know, almost everyone I knew, they had Nintendo stuff or they just weren't into games. So I had very little opportunity for that kind of stuff. I do own a Genesis now and a collection of games, and I've been on the stream. I've been working my way through them, so I'm making up for lost time there. And there are some Genesis titles that I really love now. Like I love Castlevania Bloodlines. I love Alien 3 on the Genesis. I really like Contra Hardcore and Rocket Knight Adventures. So I've found some games I really like. But I'm a latecomer to all of them. Gotta play SNES and PlayStation 1 in nearby rentals from time to time, though. Same, most people around didn't play games in my neighborhood. Yeah, I didn't know a ton of people who were really into games, and definitely not as much as I was. Oh, we found some health. Very nice. It's a lighthouse with a heart on the top. That's kind of cute. I hope the area of progression isn't over here. Oh, it's way down there. I could have been tapping this to go a little faster the whole time. This game isn't about that. Does this game not have any music? It has music. There hasn't been a lot underwater. It's kind of low as well. The music's way quieter than the sound effects. But there's definitely some music. It's really low in the mix. Another tentacle I can't get through. Probably the best PlayStation 1 game that I've played, because again, just like the Genesis, I never really played much PlayStation 1. Probably the best PlayStation 1 game I've played so far is Silent Hill. I haven't played as many PS1 games, though, and the ones that I have played have, quite a few of them have been kind of trash. E.T. Interplanetary Mission and Powerpuff Girls Chemical Extraction. Well, I got what I expected to get out of those kind of games. PS1 hasn't been given a very fair chance. some of the games, like I played Pac-Man World, and I really wanted to like Pac-Man World, but there was a lot in that game that kind of let me down. I wanted to love it. It was not meant to be. I didn't realize that was a wall of spikes. I don't know what I thought it was, but I didn't process that as spikes. PlayStation was a lot of good games. Metal Gear Solid 1, Mega Man Legends, Guilty Gear, Crash Bandicoot, Armored Core, Parasite Eve, Resident Evil 1 and 2. I played Resident Evil 2. I haven't ever done 1. Well, that's kind of not true. I played the Resident Evil 1 remake on the GameCube. I really loved that game. I played Resident Evil 2 on the N64, and also I really loved that game. I've never done the original one. Metal Gear Solid is likely not a game that is going to be to my liking. I've had a little bit of experience with the Twin Snakes, and that went rather poorly. One of the big things about like my preferences for games is I really have very low tolerance for cutscenes and mandatory story segments in games. So, like the Metal Gear series, I look at with a degree of horror because I know that they're full of cutscenes, and I just don't have patience for that. Anytime the gameplay gets taken away from me, I very quickly become agitated. So those I might pass on. Mega Man Legends I'd like to play. I think I'll probably do the Mega Man 64 version. Though Guilty Gear I don't know about. Crash Bandicoot I'd like to play. I think I could get into that. I like platformers, and that one looks to be, you know, different. Like I've not really done a sort of a platformer with the kind of perspective that game seems to have, so that could be really exciting to give that a try. Resident Evil 2 on the N64 is a really impressive port. Yeah, it's really good. I mean, it's got all the content from the PlayStation games, and I think it's even got an additional mode or two, but they're just filler kind of things. The cutscenes like look kind of blocky sometimes, and the audio sounds like it was recorded in a coffee can, but so there's definitely a quality dip to the cutscenes. The gameplay segments I think look better on the N64. Well, to a degree. I think the character models look a little better on the N64, but there are definitely a few pros and cons there. But that's the version I had, so that's the version I go to, is because it's the one I had. Twin Snakes is a really poor remake. They hadn't adjusted in the new 3D environment and the new changes like the first person aiming. It's a really inferior version. I played a couple hours of it one night because we used to have channel point redemptions for game selection on the stream, And that's kind of gone away. But that was one of the games that got redeemed back when that was a thing. I played a few hours of it, but it was just horrific. I couldn't figure out how to do anything. I basically spent the entire 3 hours in the first couple rooms just dying over and over again. I couldn't figure out how to take out any of the enemies. It was shockingly bad. I doubt someone could play it worse on purpose than I did on accident. The Metal Gear Solid game that I'm kind of interested in playing, though, the one that I am kind of looking forward to checking out is the one on the Game Boy Color. I know it won't be the same kind of thing at all, but I know I'm not going to have to sit through a ton of cutscenes, and I think there's potential there for me to connect with its gameplay. It's heavy on cutscenes for sure. Yeah, I know people love it, and you know, I don't think that they're wrong to. I just don't think that. I just don't think I'm gonna have an easy time getting into it. And I will say, I do own the original Metal Gear Solid on the PlayStation 1, and any game I own, there is a degree to which I definitely want to play through it and beat it. So I am very much willing to give the original Metal Gear Solid a try on the PlayStation. I'm not in a rush to do it. If I ever play Metal Gear Solid 4, I'm watching all the cutscenes in advance. Maybe see if someone made an abridged version of the important bits, and then skip them all in game. All friend welcome in. I suppose that's a way to do it. I hadn't really thought about that, but I'd definitely keep your gameplay from being interrupted. Might not be a terrible idea. I don't think I can get up to that. Oh, I think this is a platform. Never mind. I think I can get up to that. If you want Metal Gear without cutscenes, Metal Gear 1 and 2 on MSX are still the best in the series, in my opinion, that says. Oh, I forgot. There's also the NES games. I think I've got both of those, so we could play those sometime too. How are we doing on the collectibles here? Not done. And there's a lot of spaces. How did I miss so many spaces up here? And what's going on over there that I missed? Goodness, I've done a less than stellar job. Metal Gear NES port is basically another game entirely. Yeah. NES game is much of the same story and level design, but not well put together compared to the MSX. Yeah, I know the NES game. I know the NES game has a reputation for being less than stellar. For sure. In a lot of ways, though, that kind of makes it better for me, though, right? I do kind of have a habit of playing the most bogus version of a game available. They really didn't want you to be able to swim into that. Or jump into that swimming section. Snake's Revenge is an unofficial sort of spin-off title. For people getting in 3D titles, I didn't recommend Twin Snakes over Metal Gear Solid 1. I just had sort of the opposite recommendation of mere moments ago. I tried the Twin Snakes one night. I had a really bad time with it. I played it for about 3 hours, and it went pretty badly. I just couldn't figure out how to do anything. I stumbled around, I died over and over again. It wasn't pretty. Shallows is done. Still gotta work on the depth, though. Yeah, it's the first game remade in the Metal Gear Solid 2 engine. Well, at any rate, it's all very far off for me. It's sort of, you know, sort of has the sort of the same situation like that a lot of RPGs have for me. Is I hesitate, like I delay and avoid getting into them because I know the story segments are gonna crush me. Bodies don't disappear when you kill enemies. You have to hide them. It's kind of like the Resident Evil remake. You don't have to hide the bodies, but you have to destroy them or they come back later. It's a nice feature. I'm all the way up here. I have to go all the way around again. I have to go all the way around and back down again. Interested to see what changes to the upcoming PC releases. Metal Gear Solid 1 only had an initial release, which is playable. I'm guessing it's a patched version of that. 2 and 3 are going to be HD versions from the PlayStation 3. First time it gets a PC release. I go to this side? Yep. I did very much go over there. Oh my goodness. It's 6:30. I can't believe how late it is. I've gone half an hour longer than I thought I was going to. I've been absorbed in the game. I thought I was gonna quit at 6 and we're already at 6:30. I mean, I'm gonna go a little bit further. I need to get to a stopping point, which, I mean, who knows, because it's got to be somewhere over here. So we'll probably go another half hour or so, but not a bad thing. No, it's a-okay. I'm not gonna be late for anything. I'm good. I don't have the greatest interest in aquariums themselves, right? They're they're kind of cool, like, you know, but like I'm not. I don't know. I don't often go out of my way to learn about like fish and sea life and stuff like that. It's not something that actively draws my interest. But I like the environment of wandering through an aquarium, because they're always they're usually like really cool, and they're dimly lit, and they're usually like have a I find like the typical like aquarium environment to be a really pleasant environment. And a lot of, you know, I'm thinking about it because a lot of this naturally has that kind of vibe, since it's an underwater area, and it's, you know, pretty chill. Three hours later, is that the sun? I think this, yeah, over here. Probably just a bonus area. Oops. This path is feeling less bonus now. Mickey is wearing, if you look at that picture of Mickey, Mickey is wearing a fish bowl over his head, right? Like a scuba gear helmet to help him breathe underwater. He's wearing a fish bowl over his head that's full of water and has a fish inside. How is that supposed to help him breathe underwater? This does not work at all. Oh no. No, I thought I was kind of foolish to challenge that. No. First piece of damage was foolishness. Second piece of damage was just an accident. Go. Groovy. How we doing on collectibles? It's just the glimpse that are left. We got all the stuff. It's basically just, you know, like the coins of this game left. Oh, I'm glad I came up here first. I don't want. Oh, I would have been upset if I swam down there. So I had to come all the way back up here. That would have been gross. Oh, I just swam right into those. These guys right here. This is the toughest enemy in the game for me. This thing that shoots out those 5 spikes. It just gets me every time. And that wasn't really that far around. I thought that would have been a much worse swim. Alright, my friends. I think we're going to go ahead and wrap up here. We didn't really make it all the way to the next, like, story piece. It might be better that we didn't. Still something down here that I've missed. But that's okay. We can't really be that far off from it, I don't think. Oh, we did finish the depths. Hey, perfect. This is a great place to stop. Because we 100% of the area I was in, too. So, yeah, this is phenomenal. So, thank you for being here with me, my friends. It's been a really great night, and I'm very grateful to have such excellent company as I've had. Thank you for being here and chatting with me. And everyone who's been lurking, thank you for hanging out and enjoying the stream. Hopefully I've managed to provide you some excellent background entertainment. Whoa. And yeah, we'll head out with a raid, but I do appreciate having you here, and I hope I'm going to get to see you again soon, my friends. If you're curious about what we're doing this week, I should be streaming. I should start up between 11 p.m. and midnight Central Time. Should be streaming pretty much every night this week. As long as nothing makes me cancel. What you see in the list there is what I plan to do. Mario's missing, continued playthrough. Playthrough continues tomorrow, that is. And Tears of the Kingdom we continue on Tuesday, or what's immediately upcoming. Just taking a moment here to see what all of my options are. Alright, I think I see somewhere we can head. Thanks for the stream, Frownie. Have a great rest of your day. You too, Mets. Thank you very much. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Thank you again for the follow, Kay. I appreciate you coming on board with us. Once again, hopefully we'll get to see you. Hopefully we'll get to see you around here again real soon. Alright, this might be a little bit of a different vibe, but this is another pretty chill stream, and I haven't seen our friend Just Right in a while, so I'm going to send us in the direction of Just Right Gaming. He does a wide variety of things, does more PC games than I do. Playing XCOM right now. His stream, usually in the background, you can hear some jazz playing. He's a musician, and he makes his own jazz covers of video game soundtracks and pop tunes, and they're usually playing in the background. But it's a stream with a very friendly, chill vibe, a little bit higher energy than around here, and not a strictly family-friendly stream, so you may hear some adult language and or suggestive humor. Just a heads up in case that's a deal breaker for you. But if you come along, he's a really nice guy, and I think you'll probably have a good time. But thank you for being here with us, my friends. As always, greatly appreciate you and hope you're well until I get to see you again. Hopefully that happens real soon. Mario's missing tomorrow, Tears of the Kingdom Tuesday. But that's it for tonight. We're all out of things to do. It is time to head out. Let's go on an adventure.